And we will keep it going here at the Voice of College Football. We've got the Michigan man here.
What's up, Mark? What's going on, man?
Not too much. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Let's get something straight. He 100% scattered these games, okay? I haven't been listening to the show, but too much. But he 100% scattered these games. Real quick, for people that aren't familiar with because I've read the bylaws extensively, you are actually allowed to scout in person CFP potential championship opponents and teams that are on your schedule. So
Okay.
all the playoff teams, So all the playoff teams, it's one of the exemptions in Article 11 that
the
you're actually
playoff
allowed
teams.
to. Yeah, so you're allowed to scout the. That's crazy that that's even still up. You're allowed to scout the conference championship and the playoff games because it's not considered it's one considered a championship game. I don't know why that's an exemption in there, but it is something that a lot of people on the internet aren't familiar with. Secondly, there's no way this guy's affording this, man. How is he affording this? Like, how are you affording the SEC title game? How are you affording? This is the biggest mystery to me right now. Is how are you affording all these tickets? And we're just talking tickets. We don't know if it goes further.
Money. People have money, and he may be independently wealthy.
He might be because he's supposedly, like I've mentioned before, he was going to every game, away game, and maybe he really is a CIA spy or something, man. Maybe he got that CIA money. I don't know, but I don't know. I've heard some things. I don't know. It hasn't been really reported. This is from like Michigan message boards, but I'm not gonna say which ones, obviously. But supposedly the NCAA is going to be having a meeting at Michigan within the week. I'm gonna throw that out there.
So you're drawing a conclusion that this could be wrapped up sooner than I thought. This was going to take a while, and I thought
I'm not saying it's going to be wrapped up. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is they could. What this would happen? They could meet and give a notice of allegations. That's a possibility. They can meet and discuss the evidence that they might have, and discuss, kind of like confer what the school has. They show them what they have. It could be something like that. It could be a bunch of things. It doesn't mean it's wrapping up. It could be a meeting over a bunch of different things. But from what I've read, supposedly that there's supposed to be a meeting soon. And also the biggest player here is actually the Big Ten, believe it or not. The Big Ten can choose to act on this at any time if they wanted to, before the NCAA.
Yeah, I picked up on that.
So that's another thing. They could act on it at any point. But what I read is they still want to wait to see more before they do. But people got to keep in mind they don't have to wait for the investigation to end. If they feel like there was enough, or if the schools come together. There's another thing. What if all the schools come together and they don't like what's going on? What does the Big Ten do then?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things here that I don't know have been discussed on the show yet. Little nuances that people haven't discussed. And at the end of the day, if the NCAA decides to infer that the rules were broken, and maybe they weren't broken to the letter of the law, because from my understanding of contract law, you can only apply it between the two parties of the contract. You can't apply it to random people. You'd have to prove agency at that point. You'd have to approve. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So at that point, does the school take the SEC route and threaten to dispute the contract law on a court level, which they could also do, which SEC schools have done, and the NCAA backs off.
Mm.
What are your thoughts with all that?
Well, I think that that the Big Ten ganging up on Michigan, whether that came from the commissioner's office or comes from the schools, man, if it gets to that point, then you're talking about bad blood going into the future because, man, Michigan is one of the paramount schools academically and athletically in this conference. And I think that the Big Ten, man, I would be slightly surprised and also feel as though the Big Ten is really taking this seriously if they are going to act against one of its paramount schools.
Yeah,
Because
and when
that,
I say that, it's just a possibility.
yeah. No, I
I'm
hear
not
you.
saying that's yeah.
No, I didn't quite draw that conclusion as you spelled it out, but in reading through the couple articles I read through before and since we've been on the air and seeing Tony Petiti commenting and there, the Thamel reporting and the Schlabach reporting kind of inferring that, yeah, the Big Ten could intervene and get into this. And then based on how you framed it, I thought, wow, they're taking a big step if they're going to create that kind of division between themselves and one of their big money
Oh,
schools.
100%. And I'm not and clear to be clear, they didn't say they were going to do that. I'm saying
Yeah.
that that's a
Yes,
possibility.
I know. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Just to make that clear.
And that's why I say I don't think it'll happen, but if it does, that is a big statement. That
yeah,
is huge.
because the conference is only as powerful as the schools within it.
Yes, exactly. And this is one of the two that more than anyone else rule the athletic landscape and the football landscape. Even if the schools go to the Big Ten and say, hey, we are demanding something harsh here, that of course puts the Big Ten in a bad place. But I would think that even the Big Ten would try to do everything possible to appease the other schools and say, hey, just back off. We'll make this right to a certain extent, but we cannot cut off one of our major partners here.
Oh, 100%. The one thing I am surprised about is that this guy is not fired yet.
Yeah.
I am a little surprised by that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
We know that.
I feel like there's enough there.
Yeah. Take the Pat Fitzgerald example. It went from within like hours, he's being investigated to he's being suspended to, 3 hours later, he's fired.
Yeah, I'm surprised because I feel like there's enough there. Do you?
Yeah. I
just from an optics standpoint.
Yes. And that would show that Michigan, that would at least give the appearance that, okay, he did some things that they were not a part of. And so just by suspending him, yeah, I agree with you there.
It's a little weird, right?
Yeah, it is.
I wonder, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but I wonder if there is a little bit of, hey, look, did we bend the rules? Yes. But let's wait and see if the NCAA can actually do something about the way we bent the rule.
Yeah, I think that there's a belief that we know whatever we did, and I'm not speculating on how far it was taken, but we do know what the facts are at least, and we don't know how many more there are to come out. But that Michigan's in a position to say, we know what we've done, but we only think part of this is able to be proven.
Yeah, I feel
so we're pretty confident that only a portion of this can be proven, and we're going to get a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, and honestly, look, this is the one problem with, and maybe it's not even a problem. Well, I'll say this: all Michigan fans and all Michigan people that like to claim moral superiority, that's dead in the water at this point. The whole moral superiority thing, like we don't operate like SEC. Look, it's out the window. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I don't. Well, yeah, I really just can't believe anyone that claims that nowadays. So,
yeah, but we know that some schools and some programs,
abide by more rules than others, but there's some degree of bending of the rules, if not cheating, everywhere to some degree.
Oh, 100%. The last caller that commented on the Ohio State thing, don't read into that. I don't even think there's really much to that. That's a
Oh,
that
about
that
the coaches at the Notre Dame game.
yeah, that's a lot of speculation at this point. It's really just a Venmo thing at this point. And even then, the only way they would have broken that rule in that situation is if they use electronic equipment on the field or or if they transmit it from the stands to the sideline. That would break the rule, but so far, I mean, there's really nothing to that. So I wouldn't even look into that. You know, can you hear
All
me?
right, man. You are digging in on this.
All right, man. I'm on top of it, man. I've been reading deep on it.
No, I appreciate
So,
it.
I'm like a sideline reporter right now.
Absolutely, you are. You are.
So,
And I would like to be a little bit better informed, but shoot, I've been recording since 1 o'clock this afternoon, so we're trying to cover all the games and all of that. So I
yeah,
appreciate
I'll
you
let you
coming
go,
on
man.
here and digging in on all this.